Donald Trump over the weekend carried newspapers around like a prop. This was advanced damage control for an interview that's going to be aired tonight, during which Donald Trump is confronted about whether he reads. And there are about 3 different angles to this story. The primary angle is we are getting crushed on coronavirus due to Trump's failed response. And he's still golfing all the time. Trump golfed on Saturday and he golfed on Sunday. He was supposedly signing a new health care bill into law yesterday, Sunday. He golfed instead, no new health care bill. But on top of it, Trump continues to be concerned with the optics of carrying around newspapers rather than actually doing something about coronavirus. So let's go through it. Saturday, Trump golfed and he was spotted getting out of his vehicle, carrying just a whole pile of newspapers. He also had a really strange bruise on his hand, which led to new speculation about some medical issue, but that's not even the focus today. But Trump had this pile of newspapers that he was carrying around. Now, we've been covering Trump's reading for years, and it would not be news to many of you. But because of the Russian bounty story, Trump's reading is back in the news. And in an interview coming out tonight with Axios' Jonathan Swan, Trump is confronted about whether he reads. Does he read his own presidential daily briefings? And part of the reason why is that, as far as multiple reports have outlined, Trump was briefed multiple times about the Russian bounty stories, although Trump is claiming that he was not. And so in this interview, we got a clip of it last week. It's publishing tonight. Donald Trump claimed that he has the best reading comprehension of anybody that Jonathan Swan had interviewed. Here's that clip from last week. They released a preview of tonight's interview.
I wouldn't mind. If it reached my desk, I would have done something about it. It never reached my desk because...
Do you read your written brief?
I do. I read a lot.
Really?
You know, I read a lot. They like to say I don't read. I read a lot.
I
comprehend extraordinarily well. Probably better than anybody that you've interviewed in a long time. I read a lot. I spend a lot of time at meetings.
So first of all, when you're president and people don't even believe that you read, things have gone very, very wrong. There was no reason to question that Barack Obama read a lot. George W. Bush didn't have to like him. I didn't like him, but he read, I think it was like a book a week or a book every 2 weeks. There was no question that these former presidents read. Trump doesn't read. And as far as we know, he hasn't read an entire book cover to cover in his entire adult life. But Trump always goes too far. He doesn't just say, I read. He says, my reading comprehension is better than anyone you've interviewed recently. What? What does this have to do with who Jonathan Swan has interviewed? And likewise, now the calculated advanced damage control of Trump being photographed with newspapers also goes too far. He's carrying a gigantic stack. Like, if we were to believe that Trump looked at one newspaper, okay, maybe. But the idea that Trump is reading a stack of newspapers on his ride to play golf is too silly to even be plausible. Everything is posturing. Everything is pretense and optics. And if anything, Trump is looking at the pictures in the newspapers. Maybe he's looking at like a headline or two. The Bible, he clearly doesn't read it. He said it was his favorite book along with his own book. Now, there's another side to the story that I want to briefly mention. There was a ton of speculation that Trump went to Walter Reed Hospital over the weekend for either unknown reasons or as a supposed cerebral event, and that the bruise on his hand in the picture is from having an IV. And that the newspapers were actually just meant to kind of cover the bruise, which didn't work. There is no evidence that that's what happened. The White House says he didn't go to Walter Reed. You know that when things have been fishy with Trump's medical status, I've told you about it. Until we get actual evidence that this is what happened, it's much more likely that Trump just wants to be seen holding newspapers to create this idea that he reads, knowing that tonight there's a major interview believed to be very damaging to Donald Trump being published by Axios, during which the topic of Trump's reading comes up. I think the simplest explanation is the accurate explanation here. And if we get other evidence to the contrary, you know I will be here telling you about it. Let me tell you real quick about one of our sponsors, Cuts Clothing. They offer super quality men's t-shirts, and they're giving you 15% off when you go to davidpakman.com/cuts. That's CUTS. Because solid color t-shirts are a really important staple in pretty much every guy's wardrobe. I think it's really important not to overlook the value of having t-shirts you love wearing. T-shirts from Cuts Clothing have been a game changer for me. And as a company, all they deal with are men's solid color T-shirts. So they actually put a ton of thought into the comfort, the style, the durability of the T-shirts they make. They fit perfectly. They're not scratchy. They don't shrink. They don't fade. They don't stretch out over time like so many other T-shirts. They're really the most comfortable T-shirts I've owned, and they look great. This right here that I'm wearing on YouTube is the split hem crew neck T-shirt. Very soft, fits me perfectly. It's the ideal length. Go take a look at what they offer, and once you have it, you are really going to see and feel the difference. Their slogan is, "It's the only shirt worth wearing." You will see why, and you'll get 15% off when you do it by going to davidpakman.com/cuts. That's davidpakman.com/CUTS.